Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Tuesday, May 5th, 2015, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here are tonight's top stories.
Tonight, the computers are listening. How the NSA converts spoken words into searchable text. Plus, if the economy is really improving, then why are big U.S. retailers permanently shutting down thousands of stores? That's coming up next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
Well, just when you think you're one up on the advertisers because you're able to speed through the commercials via TiVo, well, now retailers have come up with another way to personalize their targeted advertising. They're going to talk to you through light bulbs. That's right. We were just crazy conspiracy theorists a few years ago, but now GE has been developing smart LED light fixtures that are going to take this personalization up a notch. Now, the light bulbs will transmit a code in the light using visible light communication technology, and it's going to communicate directly with smartphones through phone cameras. Now, this technology can pinpoint almost exactly where you are. They say it's better than Bluetooth, RFID, or GPS. So when you're walking down the aisle in a store and you've got a bunch of options there, your phone is going to start sending you coupons or product information tied to the products that are on a specific shelf. So they say that the lights are already being tested at 2 big outlet stores, and GE expects a complete rollout by early next year. As well, GE, who is heavily invested in data analytics, they're also currently testing the same technology in street lights in San Diego and Jacksonville, Florida. So there you go. We were crazy conspiracy theorists for telling you that that's what this smart technology is actually all about, targeted advertising. It's not to save the world, as they kind of push that out there. But it's not just light bulbs that are listening to you. And, you know, our audience out there, you guys know this. It's also your computer. And just how is the NSA listening to you through your computer? I mean, most people realize that emails and other digital communication is being siphoned up. It's part of the whole NSA data collection. But now even the words that you speak are being analyzed. It's not so private anymore, so your words really can be held against you. Now, The Intercept is reporting that the NSA can now automatically recognize the content within phone calls. They're creating rough transcripts and phonetic representations that can be easily searched and stored. These documents also show that NSA analysts were celebrating the development of what they called Google for Voice nearly a decade ago. Now, they also point out that even the pending USA Freedom Act is not even going to address this because most of our politicians aren't even aware that this is there. One reason could be because The Intercept is very slowly leaking out the documents that Edward Snowden provided to them, which is perhaps why they haven't been able to put this in their new bill. But they say even if this becomes law, the bill would leave in place a multitude of mechanisms that scoop up vast amounts of innocent people's text and voice communications in the U.S. and around the world. But you know what? It's for our safety. So why are we complaining? We've got nothing to hide. So what are we worried about? It's for our safety. It's to stop the terrorists, right? Well, once again, that surveillance has failed. It failed to stop, yet again, another terrorist attack. Now, we reported how one of the 2 Garland shooters was already under surveillance by the FBI. So it's not like they were just scooping up a bunch of random text and voice communication and trying to decipher it. They were specifically surveilling. This guy was under surveillance. Obviously, this once again fits the narrative that the FBI is behind most domestic terror plots. But if anything, it shows what an absolute joke mass surveillance is. But, you know, the administration, they don't want to come off as Islamophobic, right? So they're not going to call this a terrorist attack. The White House press secretary called this an attempted terrorist attack that was averted. Now, I'm sure the guy that got shot in the leg thinks this was an actual terrorist attack and not just an attempt at one. But regardless of how the White House wants to downplay it, ISIS is claiming that this is its first attack on U.S. soil. So they're just going to go ahead and call this a terror attack, and that's their first one. ISIS is claiming that 2 of the soldiers of the caliphate executed an attack on an art exhibit in Garland, Texas. And this exhibit was portraying negative pictures of the Prophet Muhammad. And they're warning Americans that what is coming will be even bigger and more bitter, and that you will see the soldiers of the Islamic State do terrible things. Ha! And these are the people that we are not supposed to be offending. These are people who are literally beheading Christians and other people out there in the world for exercising their First Amendment right. And, we don't want to offend these people. We don't want to draw cartoons, okay? Now, the FBI is coming out and saying that there's no indication that these two men were connected to a terrorist group. And the corporate media, however, they are saying that these two had they were associated with ISIS. But that's the thing. People don't even have to officially be part of the caliphate to agree with their ideology and clearly go ahead and carry out a terrorist attack. That is the issue of not calling this what it is. One of the tweets sent out by one of the shooters yesterday pledged loyalty to Islamic State leader al-Baghdadi. Now, here we have ISIS taking credit for this attack, just with a couple of wannabes here in the U.S., yet the mainstream media is wanting to pin the blame on the organizers of the event, saying they shouldn't have offended Islam. Now, meanwhile, we've got a U.S. Muslim group immediately coming out condemning this attack. This was the Council on American Islamic Relations, and they said, "We condemn yesterday's attack on an anti-Islam event in Garland, Texas. We also reiterate our view that violence in response to anti-Islam programs like the one in Garland is more insulting to our faith than any cartoon, however defamatory. Bigoted speech can never be an excuse for violence." So that is the official statement sent out by the Council on American Islamic Relations. I think that was very responsible to put that out right away, to disassociate themselves, because here you are influencing a lot of young Muslims, and you do want them to see that even though the Islamic State is saying that they are the ultimate followers of the Prophet Muhammad, you have these other groups coming out and saying, no, that's absolutely not right. And these people are saying that our First Amendment rights, free speech, should be protected, whereas the mainstream media, Steve Watson's got this article, they're basically lamenting the fact that Pamela Geller, who was one of the organizers there, offered no apology after the terrorists attacked her event. "I'm so sorry that you didn't kill me." I guess that's what they're expecting her to say. Now, this is under the headline, "Event Organizer Offers No Apology After Thwarted Attack in Texas." And the writer said that Geller knew what she was doing when she staged this controversial event. If the contest was intended as bait, it worked. And she accused Geller of being almost gleeful that she had been right. Now, Geller responded to all of this on her blog saying, "It is unimaginable. The descent of the mainstream media into out-and-out pro-jihad agitation is complete. 2 Islamic jihadists attempt to murder hundreds of people at our free speech event in Texas, and the Washington Post says that I offer no apology." So, yes, I knew what I was doing. I was standing for the freedom of speech. And so what the Washington Post thinks she was doing was another story entirely. So absolutely, here the mainstream media is just so progressive. They're just standing up against this people who would offend and insult people who are committing a terror attack on U.S. soil over a cartoon, praising and pledging their loyalty to a group that is beheading people around the world, trying to incite terror around the globe. And we don't want to insult them. And in fact, they hate us so much for our freedoms that we need to give up even more of our freedoms. Where have we heard this before? Now, meanwhile, taxpayers, of course, people are always saying, what would you do what would the Christians do if the tables were turned? But taxpayers have shelled out millions of dollars for that Piss Christ art exhibit where they had a cross and a jar of urine and Mary was covered in cow manure and stuff. And that was the only thing the Christians got mad about, was that they had to pay for it. Okay, so that right there is an art exhibit paid for by the American taxpayer. So there it is right there. It's total lunacy, and we're seeing right through it. Now, coming up, David Knight is going to be joining me in studio. We're going to be talking a lot about the economy, some really big news going on with the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And then Alex Jones will be in studio closing out the show. So stick around.
My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as InfoWars Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights to focusing on fighting the globalist. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. Super Male Vitality, Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, and Oxy Powder. Those 3 products of the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products are the most important from my own personal experience. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Now is the time to take action. Start your journey today with the Alex Challenge Pack. It's the trifecta of change. Secure yours today and get free shipping for a limited time at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
Advertisers, because you're able to speed through the commercials via TiVo. Well, now retailers have come up with another way to personalize their targeted advertising. They're going to talk to you through light bulbs. That's right. We were just crazy conspiracy theorists a few years ago, but now GE has been developing smart. Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Tuesday, May 5th, 2015, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here are tonight's top stories.
Tonight, the computers are listening. How the NSA converts spoken words into searchable text. Plus, if the economy...
Smart LED light fixtures that are going to take this personalization up a notch. Now, the light bulbs will transmit a code in the light using visible light communication technology, and it's going to communicate directly with smartphones through phone cameras. Now, this technology can pinpoint
is really improving, then why are big U.S. retailers permanently shutting down thousands of stores? That's coming up next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
Well, just when you think you're one up on the average